It's the last and final day of Spirit Plant Medicine Conference, and we have practically only a couple hours left, if that, before our final closing circle. And I have privilege to talk to someone who's been part of our conference for a while, and you've been contributing from the stage. You have a table, you're supporting, you're informing, and I had privilege to sit with you with some of the medicine circles and participate in very powerful ceremonies that you lead or organize. Tell us the path that brought you from wherever you started to where you are right now.
Yeah. First of all, it is my privilege. It really is my privilege also to have the chance to participate, to contribute, to go with the flow as well, as we're all learning in this amazing environment that the psychedelics and the spirit medicine plants are offering us. The journey, I assume, like most people, has been a personal one where you feel the call. Somehow I felt the call. I always remember from early on in my life, like by the time I was a teenager, without having had any experience yet, I always had this little voice about the Amazon and the sacred plants and coming across the first Castaneda books and things like that. That was really the call. But in the recent years, I mean, it's amazing to see, starting with this conference, from about 4 or 5 years ago, when it was the first time I had the chance to participate, to see how much is growing every year, not only just physically in terms of the number of people and the venue and everything that is around us, but in correlation with this rise of awareness and consciousness from so many other people around us that are now talking a lot more about intergenic substances and mushrooms and whatever it is that has caught their attention. So again, for me, it's something that has been a blessing in the recent years to have the chance to both combine professional part of my life, also with what is really a personal passion and a long learning. I always call myself just a humble apprentice that is here to be learning first and foremost, and then contribute as best as we can, because from all that we receive, there's this responsibility to give back to the plants, to give back to the communities, to give back to the general wellness that can be making such a profound impact for our friends and families and everybody that's around us.
Yeah, I also believe in this saying, to live is to give, and you're a perfect example of someone who embodied that in your life. Tell us about the gifts, the contributions that you make, because you give on so many different levels.
Yes. You always try to do something of impact where you can. So maybe let's pick a specific example in this case, which correlates with what I talked about at the conference this year. Mm-hmm. In this particular case, we're trying to do our best in terms of helping sustain and preserve a specific tribe that is in the Amazon and the Brazil, with which we have personal relationship as well. People that we have done ceremonies together, that we have friendship and family bonds now. And when I mentioned this tribe is only a couple hundred people basically, but it is a group of people who have managed over the decades and the centuries to keep their culture, keep their traditions, keep their knowledge of the plant and and everything that's their ancestral knowledge really. So our work is more or less, on the one hand, help solidify the base of the pyramid in terms of the material needs that they need, because in reality, a lot of these kind of communities are unfortunately some of the poorest and more remote communities. So some of it is straight material support, but really that's only for enabling what becomes then a little bit more of a hands-on work with preserving the people, so the elders who have this knowledge. Give the opportunity to take the younger next generation folks to start having this knowledge transfer happen between them. And as we do that, work as well in terms of identify the plants, because it's not only the main sacramental plants that we use for the ceremonies. There's an incredible pharmacopoeia in the forest, which is for everything that you can think of, like I mentioned, from snake bite to stomach ache to better vision, you name it. So identify, preserve, create protected gardens of the medicines, So this is one of the areas where we are able to impact in a specific community, but also in a way that also can basically last for generations by transferring the knowledge.
Yeah, I remember because you today was it or yesterday you had this lecture, and it was struck me how much wisdom we're losing because of the fact
Right.
that as a society, as a humanity, we haven't in time recognized the value
Yes.
and the beauty and the power that those prickles bring. And each time when one of those amazing shamans or wise people
Right.
passes away, their wisdom goes
Passes
forever.
away. Exactly. It's
with
like a
them.
few pages of the book kind of getting burned. And the same thing, as species of plants or trees and so on are disappearing, each of them with it is a book that is disappearing as well. Actually, most of the time, like another gentleman said in the talk, really is the spirit of the plants that are communicating what it is for. Many times when you discuss with medicine people in the forest, well, how did you know about how to do this? So I received it in a dream, like the
Right.
plant came, the spirit of the plant, which in the case of the Yawanawa, they call it the new sheen. So if the spirit of the plant came, said what it is for, and guided me to where to find it.
Yes.
And so if that plant does not get used, it's got forgotten, and it's like
Yeah.
a book that gets erased. That's as simple as that.
Well, thank you so much for your contribution,
Thank you,
for your
thank you.
support,
My
and
honor and pleasure always,
I'm
Andy.
looking forward to working together and sitting again in one of those circles and
willing.
learning from the plants.
I will look forward as well. Thank you all for this great conference, for all the work has been done over the years to give a platform and enable all of this. So I'm very grateful myself as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.